Welcome back to Search It Up with Sienna, the web series where I use IMDb to discover and talk about all different types of movies and TV shows, and how the people in front of and behind the camera not only make it all possible, but are somehow all interconnected. I talk directly with the talent about their backstories and experiences on and off set, and what they're up to today. On my last episode, we talked about Saturday Night Live with animator and director David Wachtenheim and producer Lindsay Shookus. Fred Armisen was a cast member on Saturday Night Live, and he was in the movie Easy A. So, on this episode, I'm going to be looking at Easy A. And joining me is the writer of the movie, Bert V Royal. Easy A is a 2010 romantic comedy about a high school girl named Olive, played by Emma Stone, who sees her life paralleling Hester Prynne from The Scarlet Letter. The movie was directed by Will Gluck, and the amazing cast also includes Penn Badgley, Lisa Kudrow, Amanda Bynes, Thomas Hayden Church, Stanley Tucci, Malcolm McDowell, Patricia Clarkson, and more. And now, without further ado, here's my interview with Bert V Royal.
How did you get started writing, and was it a long time interest? Did you want to do it ever since you were a kid?
Oh, that's a good one. So yes, it did start when I was younger, and I liked writing. I always really liked it. But that wasn't what I was going to be when I grew up, ever. And in college, I went to college for acting, and I was a terrible actor, and everyone knew it. The teachers told me, "You're not good at this," and so I said, "Well, can I just go here and figure out what I want to be when I grow up?" And they said, "Sure." And so I realized that I was really good at identifying talent. Like I could look around at my peers and be like, okay, that person's really good. That person's really good. So I became a casting director. And I moved to New York, and that's what I did for several years. I worked in casting. I cast for TV, theater, a film, you name it. And it was fun. And then, but I always had this sort of nagging thing at the back of me that was like, I really wish I could just write something. And so I did. I just sat down. Well, I'll tell you the true story was that I wrote a play that wasn't very good, and I gave it to my friends. I gave it to my friends to read, and they were like, "It's not good. Don't." And so then a year later, I licked my wounds, and I said, "Yeah, I'll try writing one more play." And I wrote this play called Dog Sees God that got me my first manager. I think you know her.
Yes.
Yeah. And then it was so funny because I hadn't really thought about it. I was like, oh, I guess I'm a writer now. So there's a career all of a sudden. And I had never really thought about that. I thought it was just going to be one of those things where I write a play and then something else. But yeah, so I kind of fell into it. I mean, I didn't go to school for it or anything, but I love being a writer.
Yeah, I love writing too. It's always been an interest of mine with anything.
Yeah. What do you like to write?
I honestly always enjoy writing essays for school, as much as it's a pain sometimes because I want to write what I want to write and not what the teacher tells us
Sure.
we have to do a topic on. But I do love I've been really lucky to have gotten good teachers who have been good with that. And especially actually this year we were reading, which I'll get to a little more later with my questions, but we just finished reading Scarlet Letter, and my teacher, he was like, "Oh, well, now since you guys finished the book, let's watch the movie Easy A." And I was like, "Oh, this is perfect timing."
That's cool.
Yeah, I like writing plays. I wrote one that I entered in a contest, and then I like writing TV just for fun too. I haven't really gone it too far with any of them, but yeah.
I'll tell you, TV is where it's at.
Yeah.
It's the most fun to write, just
Yeah,
because
it is.
I hate writing the end. I really I just want to keep going and keep going with my characters. So writing for TV is more fun because you get to spend more time with
Then
them.
yeah. I know you mentioned you didn't really have that much professional experience with writing before, but did you ever take after that any classes on writing or anything?
After, you know what? That's a great question, and it was kind of one of those things where I said, now that I'm officially a writer, I should probably, I don't know, learn how to write. Uh, and then I didn't. But I wish I had. I'd be much better if I had. But I just kind of threw myself into it, and I've learned so much just by doing it.
Yeah.
I make everything a learning experience.
Hmm.
Most of the time they're awful learning experiences, but they're learning experiences nonetheless.
And you mentioned you wrote the off-Broadway play Dog Sees God. What inspired that?
um, Teenagers scare me. You guys just terrify me. It was one of those things where it was like I have 20 different versions of the story of how I came up with the idea. But
Hmm.
I think the one that's fun to talk about, like on an industry level, is I really wanted to write something that was about teenagers, but I wanted the audience to know them. So there were two sort of paths. I could either take a group of adults, like let's say the Seinfeld gang, and put them
Yeah.
in high school, or take a group of children and put them in high school. And with the Peanuts, what was so interesting about them is in going in through and reading Charlie Brown and Snoopy comics and all of that, everything is so dramatic and
Yeah.
everything's so tough and so hard, and it's all way up here. And so getting to do that with teenagers, where it's like, oh, you thought that was a problem. Let me give you some real problems. And seeing how teenagers would navigate their way through that was kind of what kept me writing it.
Yeah, that's so interesting. Then, how do you make the transition from writing plays into writing film and TV?
She and Dana, they found me at the very first reading of my first play, and they signed me right after, and they said, okay, well, here's what's going to happen next. And so then I started pitching. I remember my first movie pitch. I remember like it was yesterday. I didn't even know what a movie pitch was. So and both your mom and Dana were constantly telling me, do it like this, do it like this, do it like this. And I didn't really, I mean, I was listening kind of, but so I ended up coming up with a pitch. And usually when you pitch a movie, it takes about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that. So I pitched for like an hour and a half. So, and to the woman who was running Paramount at the time, and she said, I think I was probably almost an hour into it, and she said, "Cookie, I got to stop you. I can't listen anymore. That's like this is not the way you pitch a movie." And so I didn't get that job. She was very sweet about it. She ended up getting me my next two jobs,
Yeah.
but I had to sort of learn. And again, it was all just about trial by fire and pretending to be a professional writer when I wasn't.
Yeah.
Make it till you make it, right?
Exactly. And how did Easy A come to you, and how did you come up with the concept for it?
I did. So again, that was another situation of I was talking to my agents and to my managers on the phone, and they had asked me, they said, come up with three ideas. Well, because my play was in the teenage space, I was like, what can I do that's teenagers? And so I had this idea to take three classic works of literature and set them at a high school, the same high school, do three different movies and have the characters sort of intersect a little bit,
That's
kind
so
of like Into the Woods a little
yeah, yeah,
bit.
yeah.
Um, and so I got really excited about it, and they were kind of whatever. And they said, well, what are the ideas? And I said, well, I want to do The Mystery of Edwin Drood, which is a Charles Dickens book. It's sort of a murder mystery.
Oh, that's cool. I have to read that. I've never read it, but I love murder mysteries.
Well, he died while he was writing it, so it's not finished. So
Oh,
the killer was never officially revealed. So
got
yeah,
it.
it's crazy. And then Cyrano de Bergerac, it's a play, it's a French
Mhm.
play. That I was like, I love that play. And I did actually end up writing a script for it. And then the third one, okay, so now we're gonna get into the Scarlet Letter. I thought a good title, a good use title for a movie would be Easy A, like with the Scarlet Letter.
Yeah.
Here's the problem. I hadn't read the Scarlet Letter. I just had a good idea with the name, and I was
Oh
like,
my gosh.
and so of course that was the one that everyone was like, yes, that's the movie, that's the movie, that would be really really good. Anyway, I kind of filed that away, and then 2 years later, or year or so later, I moved to LA, and I moved here right before the writer's strike happened.
Hmm.
And so it's I got here, and then all of a sudden it was like nobody can work for the next however long. And I was like, oh God, you gotta be kidding me. And so I waited and I waited and I waited. And finally the strike was over and I figured the phone was gonna start ringing and I was gonna have all these jobs. No, no, didn't work like that. So I remembered the conversation I'd had with my representation a year or so earlier, and they loved the easy A idea. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna write that. I'm gonna sit down and I'm just gonna write it. Now here's the problem. Still hadn't read Scarlet Letter.
Oh my God.
I've never seen the movie of Scarlet Letter.
I've heard that's why we didn't watch in class. We watched Easy A instead. I heard that my teacher even said Easy A is better than the Scarlet Letter movie. I've never watched the movie yet, but maybe I'll have to.
Well, it's so okay. So the worst part is so on the opening page of it, I
Yeah.
wrote ECA by Bert V Royal, based on the Scarlet Letter, or at least what the author thinks it's about, because he's never actually read it. And so then I thought, and I'll read the Wikipedia page. And I started reading that, even that. I was like, oh my God, this is so boring. I can't do it. And so I literally just sat down and wrote what I thought the Scarlet Letter was about. And that's how I got my movie.
So have you ever read the Scarlet Letter since then? Oh
I've
my
never read
gosh,
it.
that's
I don't even really know what it's
crazy.
about.
That's crazy. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and it was a horrible because we premiered at the Toronto Film Festival and we were on stage and the director, Will Gluck, made some joke about Emma Stone having not read it. And she goes, yeah, well, neither did the writer. So we were all exposed at that point. Yeah.
What made you think of that as one of your ideas to maybe do a movie? Did you hear it from somewhere or?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, it was again, I think I'd heard so much about it over the years that I
Yeah.
kind of felt like I knew the story, even though
Yeah.
I probably didn't at all. And it's so funny because at that very same premiere in Toronto, I had a friend named Haley whose mother was a professor in Toronto and she was a Hawthorne scholar.
Uh-huh.
And so she brought her mother to see it. And I was mortified. I didn't know she was bringing her mother. And afterwards, I saw them, and the mother turns to me and she goes, "You've actually never read the book, have you?" And I said, "No."
Did you have casting in mind when you were writing it? Did you know what actors you wanted to play what?
Sure,
Really?
I did. Are you asking me who?
Yeah, maybe.
Well, the funny thing was, I always like to dream small, and then hopefully, something will. But
Yeah.
this isn't a situation of dreaming small. But I was working with an actress at the time, who was on a TV show, and she's a fantastic actress. And because I was working with her, we were doing the LA production of Dog Sees God. I sort of had her in my mind. Her name is Andrea Bowen. She's an amazing actress. She was the daughter on Desperate Housewives. She was
Oh, okay.
terrible.
Yes, yes, yes.
And then I remember for the mom, I wanted Mindy Cohn from The Facts of Life, who played Natalie. And then of course, we end up with those hack actors, Emma Stone, Patty Clarkson, and Stanley Tucci. No, every time they would tell me that somebody had signed on, I was like, you're kidding, right? This is just a silly, stupid little teen movie, but they got the best cast, right?
Yeah,
It's a really cool
definitely.
cast.
No, it was and they work perfectly together. Yeah.
Yeah.
And did the film turn out in the end how you expected it when you first wrote it?
Oh, that's a good question too. Yes and no.
Oh, interesting.
Because so the original script was very, very, very R-rated. And in fact, that bad word, the worst word that we're not supposed to say,
Uh-huh.
uh, it was in there 47 times. And you can only use it, I think, once in a PG-13 movie. But that was the movie that everybody signed on to make. Well, then the studio comes to us and says, you know what? This is a teen movie. This is a movie for teenagers. We're gonna make this PG-13. And I was furious. And Emma Stone was furious. And the director seemed a little furious. But so he went back to the studio and he said, okay, let's make a compromise. Let's shoot it both ways.
Oh,
So
wow.
we did. And the R-rated version, everyone went really hard on, like that was where you got like all this excitement and stuff and blah blah blah. And then it was like, okay, well now let's do the PG-13 version. And it wasn't as, you know, exciting. Well, no, I say that. Well, what ended up happening is we watched the R-rated version and it wasn't good. It didn't work.
Wow.
But then the PG-13 movie was just fantastic. So
That's so interesting.
it was absolutely the right way to go. And I told the president of the studio that so many times. I was like, thank goodness. Because it might have been a situation where had we released it as an R-rated movie, maybe it wouldn't have gotten seen like it did.
Yeah.
So,
No, that's so true. That's so interesting too. All of these, like, I never would have guessed all of these things behind EZA. It's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
What was the most challenging part about writing it?
The end. So here's the other thing, and people don't believe me, but I swear this is actually true. I wrote the movie in less than 5 days. So it was like four and a half
Oh my
days
gosh, that's
of
crazy.
sitting, well, almost all of it. So I'm writing it, I'm writing it, and it's great. And I get to a point where I didn't know how it was going to end. And so I was like, should I read the Scarlet Letter? I didn't know if she
Back to
got hung or like at the end, like I was like, does she die? So and so I had this idea of Olive getting expelled from school,
Uh-huh.
and she and Todd just take off. Like they just get in a car and drive off, like to go start a life somewhere. It's a terrible ending, and I don't know why. I was kind of playing around with it. So I didn't do anything for like 3 weeks or so with it.
Oh wow.
And then one day I was like, you know what? It just needs to be a musical number.
Oh
It
my
just needs to
gosh.
be a musical number. So I sat down and I wrote, the last four or
Yeah,
five
yeah,
pages.
yeah.
So yeah, I guess the lesson there is sometimes you have to come away from it
And
and
yeah.
think about it and then go back to it and make it work.
Yeah, I know.
So
I remember watching the musical number and I was like, this is so unexpected, but I love it. Like I'm here for it. It was so good.
in my script, it was supposed to be a song called Nobody Does It Better,
Uh-huh.
just from the 007, from one of the James Bond movies.
Hmm.
And there was going to be a joke throughout the movie that, whenever Olive was walking past like the band room at school, they were
Yeah.
always playing that 007 number, but they couldn't get the rights to it. It was too expensive.
Oh.
So we did knock on wood. It works. It's great.
Yeah, it did work. Did you have to make any changes to the script during production? I know you said you filmed both, but what's like the process like with editing the script during production?
That's also a great question. And I think, every process is different.
Yeah.
Sometimes a writer will write a script, they'll sell it, and then they're done. Like, it's like they're not even allowed to go to set a lot of
Yeah.
time. I was very fortunate. Will was a writer himself, so he said, stay around, but at a certain point he kind of took over the reins of rewrites, and he had a group of friends that he would consult with, and so they would add little jokes here and there. And the structure of the movie always sort of stayed the same.
Yeah.
The scenes were all there. There's only one scene in the whole movie that I didn't write.
Oh,
Like
really?
with me. And it's a great scene, and I love the scene. It's actually it's one of my favorite parts of the movie. It's when Stanley Tucci comes in and she's sewing the A's on the
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
outfits, and they have a cute, sweet little exchange. That was completely the director. That was not me at all.
Well,
Yeah.
it worked, and it wouldn't have worked without your writing, I'm sure. So,
But I remember one time I was I was at an anniversary dinner,
hmm.
and Will was having dinner at the same restaurant with his wife, and we said
Oh,
hi
wow.
and everything. And then I had an idea for something, and I wrote it down and sent it over to his table, an idea for a joke, and he's like, yes, that's hysterical. And like, so it was a lot of just going back and forth like that. It was
And now,
fun.
were you on set a lot? Yeah, I know you mentioned that you're fortunate to be able to be involved.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I was on there a lot, but somebody told me the other day that I was barely there. It was 90 minutes away. We filmed it in Ojai, which was literally 90 minutes from door to door. Yeah, so I was going up there every other day
Hmm.
because I didn't want to drive an hour and a half to work.
Yeah.
So I would go up there, every other day, and then eventually kind of maybe just twice a week. And, but it was always fun. I mean, I got to be there for I think some of the more fun scenes.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
what was the process like there? Like, would you like sit and watch, or did you give your input at all?
No, at that point they didn't need or probably want my input. And that's actually, I think, more a tribute to Emma,
Uh-huh.
because at a certain point, it was just us watching this magical girl do these
Yeah.
amazing. I mean, I remember there was one time I had to run off the set because I was laughing so hard. Actually, that twice. But watching her go was just it was extraordinary.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like I said before, we're reading The Scarlet Letter in school and we watched DCA in class. And one question that came up is why is the book still relevant in today's world? And I think EZA addresses some of that judgment and bullying that were a big issue in The Scarlet Letter and a big issue in our world today. So what themes from the book or in the movie do you think still resonate today?
Oh, that's really good too. It's funny. The one of the biggest uh clashes that I had with the director was over some of the more religious material in it because I grew up in a very Christian community, family. I am very I guess I guess I'm still pretty religious.
Uh-huh.
And he is not. And he decided that he was going to kind of put some of that sentiment in. So there were things in there that I was like, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. And he would do it. I'm like, okay. So I think, this in my mind, Marianne, Amanda Bynes' character was more politically conservative than
Yeah.
Christian conservative. But I think, right now that's a thing. I mean, it's always, I mean, I hope it's not always going to be a thing, but I remember the term slut shaming had not been used until I think 2012, which was 2 years after the movie came out.
Oh wow.
So so we weren't really talking about it like we started talking about it later,
Yeah.
the idea of girls with bad reputations. Yeah.
Mhm. You've also worked on other film and TV projects such as I saw Big Hero 6 and Cruel Summer. Are there any memorable experiences that stand out from those projects or any others you've worked on?
Nope. No, no. I worked on Big Hero 6 for about 9 months.
Oh wow.
It was the craziest experience I've ever had in my entire life, just in a weird way. I mean, we would go sit in this windowless room for 9 hours a day, talking about 90 minutes of footage. And it was like, and I'm like I said, like I write fast. I just want
Yeah.
to like write something and get it out there.
Yeah.
It was a very, very long, drawn out process. And I was like, I can't do this anymore, guys. I gotta go. So that was my wanderlust speaking. And then Cruel Summer I also pieced out on. I did my favorite experience, I think my favorite work experience thus far has been this TV show that I did that not a lot of people watch, but I'm really proud of it, called Recovery Road. I loved it. I had such a good time. I co-created it with my best friend and we had a blast. We made great friends through it and it was
Oh.
fun to make and we felt like we were doing something important and it was just the best time of my life. And I feel like now in my career I'm just trying to chase that again. I want that experience. Yeah. And it was about a girl who she's secretly living in a sober living facility because she's an alcohol and a drug addict.
Mhm.
And she's going to school by day and doing that by night and she has to keep the worlds
Oh,
separated.
that's so cool.
It was, and I think I haven't watched Euphoria, but I've heard that Euphoria is kind of the same concept. But we did it before them. So it's a really sweet show. If you can find,
Yeah,
I
I
think
would love to. Yeah.
take a look at it. I'm so proud of it. I loved it. And the actors were so good. And we had a great writing staff and the production team. And it was just great. It
Oh,
was
that's
the
perfect. That sounds so nice. Big Hero 6 I know is animation. So did you find that to be more difficult or different than writing EZA or the even your play that you wrote?
yes. Animation, especially, I mean, I've only done it once, and that was
Yeah.
at Disney. I'm a massive Disney fan.
Yeah,
Huge.
I love Disney. Yeah.
I'm like somebody you don't want to do Disney trivia against. So getting to work on Big Hero 6 was like a dream come true. It was
Uh-huh.
really it was an amazing, and I didn't know what Big Hero 6 was. It was like a comic of like a little tiny comic book from years earlier. But I got the job and I was so happy. But Disney has a very, very weird process, and maybe they've changed it, which is, they do something called screenings where you write the script
Hmm.
and they have the cast come in and read it, and then they have people doodle just drawings, and they have an editor put it together like it's a movie, but just movie with drawings.
Yeah.
And they add music and do all that stuff.
Wow.
And then but they do five of them. And so I came in, I think my I came in for the third screening because
Uh-huh.
there was a writer who had also pieced out before me. Uh, and so it was one of those things where you watch it and everybody from Disney comes and sits and watches it,
Uh-huh.
and then they throw it all away and start over again.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, why? And that's just how we do it. And I'm like, but you obviously you keep the things you like, and not really. It was nuts. I mean, it was nuts. I'll tell you a little secret for your viewers. And
Uh-huh.
when I was there was a movie coming out, and everyone was really nervous. They were like, "This is going to be the worst movie Disney's ever put out."
Oh my
Everyone thought they were going to lose their jobs over it. It was panic at
Oh my
Disney.
gosh.
And then the movie finally came out and it was Frozen.
Wow. Was it that's crazy.
They thought it was going to tank the whole studio.
That's crazy because it's one of I think like when you say Disney movie, it has to be one of the first ones that come into my brain.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember I was actually in Disney World for it may have been my first time. I think it may have been. And they had like the whole like Frozen setup and everything, and like the movie didn't come out yet, and they had like dolls in the store and stuff. And I remember going in, and my dad was like had a feeling he was like, I feel like this is gonna like be a big movie. Like I don't know why. I just have like if they're having all this out right now, like I feel like they're trying to like really publicize it, and well. I guess it obviously has.
It was wild because the way that people were talking about it, because they had just done their fourth screening,
Uh-huh.
or no, they had done all their screenings, and it was finally to the animation part where animators were off doing it. I remember going into to work one day, and they had this big common area, and there were
Yeah.
monitors set up all over the place that had a live feed to the voice session where Adina Menzel
Oh
was
wow.
doing Let It Go. So I sat and watched her singing it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like recording it. It was crazy. And I was like, oh, this is a good song. But at the same time, like, yeah, it was wild.
That's so cool. Are you working on anything now that you can share?
Sort of. Um, so I wrote me and my buddy, we were kind of restless after the last strike that happened.
Hmm.
And we decided to sit down and write an entire TV show.
Oh my gosh,
So we
wow.
did. Yeah, and I'm so proud of it. I love it so much. It's my favorite thing I've ever written in my entire life.
Oh my gosh.
It's called Cul-de-sac,
Uh-huh.
and we don't have a place for it. So we're out there trying to find a studio
Yeah.
or a network or anything. But it's a really fun show. It's a big show.
Well, hopefully someone f recognizes it because I mean, I'm sure it's amazing. Do you prefer, after all of the experience you've had, do you prefer working on plays and theater or film and TV more?
Ooh. Um, everything has its own positive bend.
Yeah.
I mean, theater is so much fun to like go and be a part of it. And you're like there with the cast and the director, and it's all everybody's huddled together and like creating, and it's so creative, and like you just
Yeah, yeah.
beautiful. And then film, again, it's a more isolated thing. Usually the writers aren't as involved in the process of making something, but that's where the money is. So that's the good part about film.
Yeah.
Television, I think I like best
Hmm.
because
Yeah.
there's the writer still is maintains control.
Hmm.
And I'm not saying that as a control freak. I'm just saying, it's I want to have a say. I fall in love with my characters, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want to say in what happens to them and where they go. So I think television is really a great writer's medium, where film is a great director's medium, and theater, quite frankly, is an actor's medium. So
Yeah, I've had so much fun talking to you, but I have a couple more fun little things before we end.
please,
So I do this thing with some of my guests where it's called rapid fire. So basically, I just ask you like 4 or 5 questions, and you kind of just say like the first thing that pops to your mind. Don't overthink it. They're simple questions.
okay, okay,
So let's get started. So, um,
okay.
your favorite book or one that comes to mind?
Uh, Two, To Die For by Joyce Maynard and To Kill a Mockingbird.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
What's your favorite writer's snack?
Writer snack?
Yes.
Oh goodness. I don't know. Um, I don't eat while I write.
No, what's like your oh, got it.
I mean, you mean
Like
snack?
what's
Like,
your
what do I
favorite
eat?
like snack? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, I'm a big potato chip person. I
Yeah.
mean, as you can see.
And Snoopy or Scooby-Doo?
Oh, I can't answer that. I'll get in trouble. I'm a huge Scooby-Doo fan.
Yeah. Who doesn't love Scooby-Doo? You're traveling to the moon and can only bring one personal item with you. And so what is it?
One personal item. Oh goodness. Oh, that's really hard. A keyboard.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, it relaxes me.
Um,
Hmm.
well, yeah, those are my rapid fires. So you survived
Those
those.
are good.
And now my last thing is I've been doing this thing with a lot of my guests, writers in particular too, where I've started a story with them and they've added on like a little bit of like the next part to the story. So I'm gonna read you what they've done, what people have said so far, and then you can add on a little bit to the story.
Oh, that's so fun. It's Exquisite Corpse is what it's
Yeah,
called. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so once upon a time, there was a young girl who was very quiet in her own way, and that girl had a mother who was her biggest support, and she encouraged her to go into the world and do amazing things. But then, one day, the girl returned home to find that her mother had disappeared. Now she was alone in the world. Then she finds a clue about where her mother might be, and she goes on a journey to see if she can find her mother. She gets a phone call in the middle of the night, and it's her mother saying, "Please don't try to find me. I left because I had to leave, and I'm sorry." But the little girl didn't listen to her mother. She went into the garage, got her mother's electric scooter, fired it up, and drove off into the night. The little girl rode as fast as the electric scooter could take her, past the neighborhood that she knew, where she grew up, and into the city, a place that she only had ever gone with her mother. And now she found herself there, alone at night, and her scooter ran out of power.
Oh my gosh. And um and her heart started beating. Wait, she's is she on the side of the road, did you say?
She's in the city. Yeah.
In the city. Okay, so and her heart started beating faster as headlights came towards her and started slowing down. When the car finally got to her, the window rolled down and she was shocked because it wasn't her mother in the car, but it was somebody she knew very well.
Dun dun dun. Perfect. That was great.
That was
Um,
fun.
well, thank you so much for doing this. I had
Anna,
so
thank
much fun
you.
talking to
It
you.
was so much fun. Anytime. All right. Bye now.
Have a good night.
See
Bye.
Thank you so much, Bert. It was so interesting to hear about your background and your writing process for this movie. And now, before we search it up, here's a quick fun fact. Did you know that all his family members are all named after foods? Her parents' names are Dylan Rosemary, and her younger brother's name is Chip, and her other brother is named Kale. And now it's time to search it up. Let's see. Oh, Penn Badgley, who plays Woodchuck Todd in Easy A, was also in the show Gossip Girl. So next time, we're going to be talking about one of my favorites, Gossip Girl. See you then!